What's happening, everyone? My name's Hayden, and in this video I'm going to talk exactly how I handle my taxes as an Amazon FBA seller. No fluff, no BS. Let's dive straight into this. So if you don't know who I am, I've been selling for about 4 years now. I'm going to do probably 700,000-800,000 this year in my UK and USA stores combined. So let's dive into it. So this is how I handle it. So look, first of all, quick disclaimer, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax specialist. This is just business to business advice, all the normal mumble jumbo. Okay, let's dive into this. So first question that gets asked a lot, do you need to be a sole trader or a limited company when you're starting out? This is quite a common thing. So look, the truth is there's no right or wrong here. You can be a sole trader, okay, and you can action that completely fine for a few months, you know, as long as you don't go over a certain threshold, the VAT threshold, 85,000. There's nothing wrong with being a sole trader. However, a lot of people opt for the limited company like I did from the start for a few reasons. Now, one of the main reasons I did was the submission of a limited company to Amazon. The reason I wanted to go limited from the start was because if you try to switch to limited later on, I know of a couple of people, not in all cases, but a couple of people that have tried to switch, and unfortunately Amazon would not accept that switch for about 7 or 8 months. So they couldn't go over that VAT threshold because they weren't able to go VAT registered because Amazon would not accept their limited company status until they got over a certain time frame, which means that it's risk in that respect. But however, check out my full limited company v sole trader video. If you type in Mr. Hayden limited v sole trader, it will come up, and that will give you a full breakdown of limited v sole trader. There's many pros and cons for both. However, I believe that you should talk to a tax specialist and decide if you are going to be in this for the long term. And if you're going to be in it for the long term, a limited company might be the right route for you, just like I did. There's a lot of benefits for a limited company. It's properly done. You can do it properly. But also, if you want to be a sole trader, talk to a tax specialist. Okay, talking to a tax specialist, this video is also sponsored by Awesome, by the way. You can get a £12 company set up below limited company, the link below, or £100 off your accounting services by using the other link below. Thanks Awesome for sponsoring it. So number 2, how to do the bookkeeping. Okay, now what you want to do is have the purchase trackers for everything. You need to set up a purchase tracker. You need to know exactly what you're buying. You need the date, the ASIN, the product title, you need the purchase quantity, you need the purchase amount, everything in there, the SKU. You need to track everything that you buy, okay, and the exact quantities. What card did you buy it from? Because you're going to need to give that information to your accountant at a later date, okay, and you need to collect all your receipts as well. What I did when I started out was set up a Google Drive, set up November, December, January, February, etc. every month of the year, and throughout the year you need to be pinging in all of your invoices from the different times of the year into them folders so that you can just hand them to your accountant. Okay, so that's really, really vitally important to do with the purchase tracking. The next step on my list here is the next part is that you need to decide if you're going to get an accountant or if you're going to do it yourself. Let me explain what's best. I personally use Awesome to do all my stuff. As I say, they do mini packages for like £50 a month, or if you're a bigger seller, it's probably going to be more 150 to 180, something like that. Check them out below, as I say, £100 off. But what I do is use Awesome to do it, and what they do is all we do is send all our receipts to them, our VAT receipts. If you're not VAT registered, you'll just send your normal tax receipts to them every single month. Like I just said, you put them in the Google Drive, but if you've got Awesome as your accountant or another accountancy firm like what we do, we just ping all of our receipts to them and they do the rest, okay? However, if you're not getting an accountant, if you're not gonna have an accountant, or at least from the start, then you need to get something like Link My Books, Xero, and you need to track everything yourself, collect them receipts, add them into your database, link your books so all of your cards are connected so that you can track your outgoings, your profit, your loss, and then use Xero to track all of your accounting yourself. So depending if you want to do it yourself, as I say, we certainly don't. We want to spend our time sourcing, but if you do want to do it yourself, then you can use that type of software as well. Here's some common questions. Here's some common questions about taxes. Do I need an accountant straight away? That's quite a common question that people ask. And no, you don't. You don't need an accountant from the start. You can go a few months without an accountant. However, you've got to know that if you don't use an accountant, then every month that you don't use them, later on, if you were to hire an accountant, say 8 or 9 months in just before your tax return, which you need to do every year, by the way, you're going to have to pay them to backtrack your books. So I think I did that when I started out. I mistakenly didn't get an accountant for about 8 months, and I had to pay £700, £800 for them to backdate all my books. So just because you don't have an accountant from the start, a lot of people think I won't get one for 8, 9 months, but don't think that you're avoiding the cost. If you want to be organised, get one from the start. You know, as I say, it doesn't have to be really expensive, especially the mini packages that you can get. Another question I get is what costs can go off your accounting from your Amazon FBA business. Now the truth is pretty much anything. Products that you're purchasing for the business, softwares, prep centers, tools, coaching, mentoring, courses, whatever you're using for the business, anything that you use for the business, if you've got business premises, you can get certain percentages off for that. If it's a home office, you can get a percentage off for that. If you buy a stapler for your business at home, you can get it off that. A laptop case, a laptop, anything you're using for the business, a Hoover for your office, you can take it off, okay? But obviously you need to run that past your accountant or, you know, the tax specialist that you're going to use if you're doing it yourself as well. Another question, can I use a local accountant? A lot of people think, can I just use my, you know, John down the road that's been doing this for 50 years and he's going to charge me 10, 20 quid a month to do it? I wouldn't. Okay, now I had a really bad experience. I tried to use an everyday random accountant who actually got referred to me some years ago, so I won't name any names there, and they were pretty awful. They really messed up my books. There was one horror story that I had with them where they also got me. They almost got me really in really bad trouble. It was around about the £85,000 threshold I was coming up to, and if you don't know what that is, you have to register for VAT on that before you hit the VAT threshold. You know, you need to be ready for it. My accountant, who wasn't an Amazon specialist, who wasn't an e-commerce specialist, advised me to not register for VAT until I had 85,000 cross through my bank accounts. Whereas that's completely the wrong advice. You have to go VAT registered when you've got 85,000 in sales for the year, not going through your bank account, through sales on your dashboard. He didn't know that. So that just gives you an example. If it's an accountant that isn't a tax specialist, that isn't an expert like Awesome are, who isn't an Amazon or e-commerce specialist, then they're likely not going to know what they're doing. There's certain reports that you have to pull from Amazon. There's certain laws and regulations around Amazon accounting that's very different to a mainstream accountant that's just using a window cleaner or something like that. So it's really important that you have a specialist, someone that understands. And if you have to pay a little bit extra for that, then they're likely going to save a lot more than that on your books by doing it correctly, or getting you in trouble with HMRC. So anyway, guys, I hope that video's helped. That's how I do my taxes for Amazon. A brief overview there. As I say, check out £100 off accounting with Awesome below, or £12 to set up your limited company. I'll see you in the next video.